What's going on, everyone, and welcome back. I hope you all had a fantastic new comic book day this week and you were able to grab all of your books. It was definitely a smaller weekend. On top of that, my shop did get shorted on quite a few issues, so I was only able to grab 9 issues this week. So instead of my usual top 10 list, I'm going to be doing a top 9 instead. They did order those books for me. I ended up missing out on the new Moon Knight issue and Undiscovered Country, 2 series that I really enjoy, but I will be reading them at some point. But honestly, I am really excited to talk about these books. Overall, it was definitely a very solid week. Before I get started on this week's top 9 list, if you are new to the channel, I drop weekly comic book content that's going to keep you up to date on all of the latest releases. So if you want to miss out on any of that, be sure to hit the subscribe button down below and the little bell to get notified every time I drop new videos. You won't regret it. And now let's jump right into this top 9 list. And here we go, everyone. Kicking this top 9 list off first, we've got coming in at number 9. This is AWA's New Think, issue number 2. This is cover A. I'm going to be honest with you guys, I really didn't like this issue at all. Overall, I just really didn't think it was that good. The artwork was okay, and the story, it just did not land with me whatsoever. When the first issue came out, I'm pretty sure I gave it my number 1 on my top 10 list that week. And now for it to go to number 1 to the last spot, that definitely sucks. So a little bit of spoilers. This issue, if you can recall from the first issue, they're kind of talking about how technology has evolved over the years, how people and technology have evolved over the years, and this issue is going way back in time, the medieval times, and they're just telling stories. We have our main character, and she's a storyteller, and then it just kind of goes from there. The story, like I said, it was very weird. I didn't really like it. We have a king, and for some odd reason, he doesn't like stories, and he's not happy that she is telling all of these stories, and then all of these other people started telling stories as well. I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Maybe I have a bad opinion of it, but the story seemed a little confusing at first, and then as it progressed, that's when it started to become a little bit more clear that everyone is just in unison with telling stories, mainly because the king just for some odd reason doesn't like them. But like I said, coming in at number 9 this week, this is honestly the only issue that I really didn't enjoy this week. We've got New Think, issue number 2. And next up on my list this week, we've got coming in at number 8. This is Marvel's new series. We've got The Mandalorian, issue number 1. This is cover A. The Mandalorian has finally made his way into comic books, but before I give you my thoughts on this issue, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm just not the biggest of Star Wars fans. I don't have a lot of knowledge on these characters. I've not seen the Book of Boba Fett. I've not seen The Mandalorian. So personally, I don't know if this is supposed to coincide with the TV show, maybe expand on the TV show, or it's just its own take on the TV show. So if you do have some more knowledge than I do, let's talk about it more down below. But as far as the first issue goes, and someone with not a lot of knowledge, I think they did a pretty decent job getting us up to speed and kind of giving us a nice backstory on the character. I'm not going to be getting too in-depth with it, because once we get kind of in the middle to the end, that's when just you find out everything about where the series is going to be going. And if you've seen the TV show, I'm sure that's exactly how the TV show happened as well. But as far as The Mandalorian goes, we get some backstory. Like I said, we learn that he's just a bounty hunter, and he's basically just completing bounties. Once we get to the middle, that's when he gets the big job, and that's where I'm going to leave it at for this one. Like I said, if you've got more knowledge, let's talk about it more down below. But for those reasons, we've got The Mandalorian, issue number 1, coming in at number 8. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 7. This is Dynamite's new series. We've got The Army of Darkness vs. Reanimator, issue number 1. This is cover C. This was an awesome first read, but personally, I'm very biased. I'm a huge fan of The Army of Darkness and the Evil Dead stuff. Everything with Ash Williams. If it's in a comic book, I'm going to pick it up, and I'm most likely going to love it no matter what. If you're a fan of just those series, you're most likely going to love this as well. We had some of the cheesy one-liners and just the Ash Williams kind of little comedy that he throws in every once in a while. There's kind of 2 plots going on in this story. Other than just everything with Ash, we've got the Reanimator as well. Personally, I don't know anything about that character, so me being able to jump into this with no knowledge, I did get some nice backstory on him, kind of what he's all about, and going forward, I'm very excited for the next issue. So for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 7 this week, we've got The Army of Darkness vs. Reanimator, issue number 1. And next up, folks, we've got coming in at number 6 this week. This is Marvel's Spider-Man Punk, issue number 3. This is cover A. Every time I pick up one of these issues, I don't go into it with a lot of expectations, but every time I'm done reading it, I feel so satisfied. I like the artwork. I like the storytelling. Issue 2 and issue 3 kind of felt the same to me, where it wasn't like a one-shot story, because the whole story has a purpose right now, but right now they just made their way to Philadelphia. We get introduced to the Daredevil character. We have the Wilson Fisk character in this one. That's why I said it kind of reminded me of the second issue. There was a ton of action, but it's basically the whole Spider-Punk team showing up to Philly. The Daredevil character's got a problem, and they all help them out with it. There's not really a whole lot else that happens in this issue. It just was a really nice, fun read, and like I said, the artwork's pretty cool too. It goes very well with the story that they're trying to tell, but for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 6 this week, Spider-Punk, issue number 3. Down to our top 5 issues of the week. We've got coming in at number 5 this week. This is Marvel's new one. We've got Daredevil, issue number 1. This is cover A. I was so excited for this one, but I knew deep down it was going to be exactly what Marvel does with a lot of their brand new series. It's just going to be a reboot at number 1 so you can get brand new readers on there, and I am the brand new reader. I did feel very lost, but I am happy, and I'm still putting it at number 5 because I did read most of the last series, if you can recall from a while back. I've always talked about that. It was one of my biggest regret sells. I stopped reading pretty much right before Elektra took over as Daredevil, so I think that was like 21 or 22, so I did have some decent knowledge of the story itself, but I did feel a little lost, and if you are a new reader trying to get into this Daredevil series, you're probably going to be quite lost then. The artwork, though, the artwork was phenomenal. Chip Zdarsky in this series absolutely does incredible storytelling as well. I highly do suggest, and I'm going to do it myself, you got to find the back issues for that other volume. It really was extremely well written and overall such a great story. I don't even ask. I have no idea why I sold it. I think I just got a really good deal on it, and I said, you know what? I'm not going to turn this down. I said, you know what? It's a little bit more of a boring story. I can get this in a hardcover. I really regret it. I do. Give it a shot. If you're a big fan of Daredevil, I think around the middle of the issue, things became a little bit more clear. That's when they started really progressing where the new story was going to go. But overall, this really was such a solid issue. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 5 this week, Daredevil, issue number 1. Next up this week, we've got coming in at number 4, this is Marvel's The Punisher, issue number 4, this is cover A. At this point, 4 issues deep, I am absolutely sold on this series. I'm so excited to see where they go with it going forward. The first 2 issues didn't really sell me all that well. The second one was much better than the first one, if I can recall. The third issue, while I wasn't a huge fan of them kind of changing the origin of the Punisher, basically talking about how, Frank Castle, you were always born to be this monster. This was you from the start. You just had to figure out you as a person. Wasn't exactly sure if I liked that too much, but the story itself was extremely well told. This 4th issue kind of started off the same way, like, all right, we're still dealing with the Punisher and the Hand and just all these other people, but as we made our way to the middle and then the ending, they left us on a crazy cliffhanger. Jason Aaron is doing a phenomenal job. I'm very excited for it. Let's talk about it more down below, but we've got coming in at number 4 this week, Marvel's The Punisher, issue number 4. Down to our final 3 issues of the week, folks. We've got coming in at number 3. This is Image's brand new one. We've got Impact Winter, issue number 1. This is cover A. This is a very last second pickup, and honestly, I only grabbed it because my shop got shorted on some of my pull list books, and I thought to myself, man, I really need to fill this list up with something else. So I breezed through it a little bit, liked the artwork, and it was definitely a little bit longer, and I thought, you know, I'm going to give it a shot. We're going to see where it goes. As I started reading it, right off the bat, we learned it's about monsters, specifically vampires, and I thought, man, another kind of just monster vampire story. I'm already reading Nita Hawes and then Philadelphia, Hell Cop, and all the other ones that deal with monsters. It is right up my alley. I love horror stuff, but vampires, I'm a little burnt out with that right now. But there's so much more to that than just vampires. I think the thing that really hooked me on this story right off the bat was the characters. The character development, and the writer really makes us feel for these characters. We learn about them, their feelings, and just how they go about their day-to-day. Even some of them, how they ended up in the situation that they are, and I really enjoyed that. The story itself was pretty cool too, but as we make our way towards the middle and the ending, it's just the characters' emotions that really propelled the story in my opinion. But then, once we learn a little bit more about these vampires, there's more than just the bottom tier vampires. There's levels of them, there's some really intelligent ones, and I'm excited to see what they can do with the story and where it goes from there. Definitely check it out if you had a smaller week like myself. I really enjoyed it. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 3 this week, Impact Winter, issue number 1. Next up, we've got coming in at number 2 this week. This is Image's Slumber, issue number 5. This is cover A. This was definitely my favorite issue of the series so far. This one was fantastic. The way it started off, I thought the entire issue was going to be that way. If you can recall, our whole team, they're hunting down Valkyra still, and it kind of started off with that character's perspective, and I thought, man, if we see an entire issue from that monster's perspective, it's going to be crazy. It was just a few pages, but things really took off. Things went crazy. It's kind of like the other issues, though, where, you know, they had to re-enter the dreams to basically find Valkyra, but in this issue, they located her, and it's just basically just a game now. Not going to be spoiling anything else. Like I said, this was definitely my favorite one of the series. The artwork, I love that too. It's so colorful, it's so bright, and I'm just, you know, overall, it's a top-notch series from Image. Definitely loving it. And for those reasons, we've got coming in at number 2 this week, we have Slumber, issue number 5. And here we go, everyone. This is it, my top read of the week. We've got coming in at number 1 this week, and I'm sure you all know what it is. We've got Images, 8 Billion Genies, issue number 3. This is cover A. I honestly think this is my favorite issue of the series as well, just like Slumber. This series just keeps getting better and better as the issues progress. That first issue, I absolutely loved it. They really laid the groundwork on the characters, and plus, just the artwork is phenomenal in its own way, too. The second issue, they really expanded on the genies and just how wishes work. This issue, not only did they do all that, but they also just put everybody out into the world as well. Some of the characters made their way out into the world outside of the bar. We got to see what it was like and just everybody's wishes. They really expanded on some of these characters as well. The plot has really thickened in this issue. And just, man, we got left on not like a crazy cliffhanger at the end, but one of our characters finally made a wish, and I'm excited to see what they do with that too. Definitely check this series out, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. As much as I love it, it did get optioned, and it is, honestly, it's very expensive on eBay right now. I think this issue is selling between $20 and $30. The first issue is still selling for quite a bit of money as well. Wait it out. There will be eventually either a trade paperback, or people will forget about it being optioned and it will drop in price, or maybe they even make some second printings of it too. Hold out, don't spend eBay prices, but seriously, do what you can to get your hands on this series, even if you have to read it digital. But for those reasons, we absolutely have coming in at number 1 this week, Images, 8 Billion Genies, issue number 3. Another week of comics, everybody. What'd you think about this week's new comic book day? I was a big fan of it. Definitely a smaller week, and that kind of sucked, and especially because my shop got shorted on quite a few books. I ended up missing out, like I said earlier, Moon Knight and then Undiscovered Country. 2 series that I'm really enjoying right now, but I will be getting them eventually. But 8 Billion Genies, issues number 3, definitely taking the crown this week. Slumber, issue number 5, another phenomenal one as well. Marvel killed it with a few of theirs, but let me know down below in the comments section which books you picked up this week, and which ones you think I missed out on. I want to hear what your number 1 choice is as well. And thank you for watching this video. If you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that thumbs up button because it really does help out. And if you don't want to miss out on any of my upcoming content, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and the little bell to get notified. Every time I drop new videos, you won't regret it. I've got 2 more sitting off to the side here with more of my comic book content. Click on one of those and I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.